Hey everyone, how's it going? Cell here. Welcome back to some Sanctum solo self-found progress. In this video, I am quite a bit ahead of where I was in the last video. I've been playing a ton, but I haven't made the time, I guess, to put together this video. So, as you can see in the background, doing a Sirus fight. Sirus. Don't know how I'm supposed to pronounce that with my accent, but regardless, it's happening in the background right now. A bit of a showcase. You know, used to be the big endgame boss. You'll see that, nothing really impacts me in terms of anything he can do to me. So, good showcase of where I'm at in terms of the damage right now and defensive capabilities as well. You'll see me tank a meteor in the final phase as well at some point. Anyways, last video I was just entering maps. In this video, I am obviously taking on a bunch of endgame bosses, or I'm at that point. I don't know how many I'll showcase here, but I've taken down, obviously, Quest, Exarch and Eater, some non-Quest Eaters as well, since I've been running Eater Altars. Taking down Maven, taken down Maven witnessed feared bosses like Cortex and Shaper. I've done Elder. I actually got a pretty decent Jewel that I'll probably show off in a bit. Haven't done Uber Elder. I'm one Elder fragment away. Or not Uber Elder. Uber Shaper? No, I think they call it Uber Elder, right? The Shaper Elder fight? I don't even know anymore. But need one more Elder fragment to facilitate that. And that is the last Pinnacle Eldritch boss I have to take down. Atlas is currently sitting at 127 out of 132 points. So pretty good progress there as well. Trying to decide on what kind of content I want to farm. I've been doing a ton of expedition type stuff because that's always what I start with. It's my favorite League content, but at this point looking to switch it up. I have a ton of logbooks still to run, but I've done a lot of Tujin and Danig logbooks and expedition based things as well, so kind of swimming in resources right now without any real direction on where to go with them. So I've just kind of been running around doing a bunch of random stuff. I did just fail a Sanctum run, which is very unfortunate. Got to the final phase and I am not sure if the afflictions affect the final phase of the boss. But if they do, I'm pretty sure I juiced up the damage and then died immediately to a lightning wall. I saw 3 individual hits come through, but it was fast enough that I didn't have time to react or anything like that. And I think my flasks were down at the time, otherwise I may have survived. So that is very unfortunate. But like I said, I've been running a lot of expeditions, so that on top of I have Harvest and Ritual unblocked, so I've been doing those. And each map just takes forever, not to mention, the build and my general playstyle don't lend themselves to quick gameplay either, so I've been doing, slowly. We can leave it at that. So I've been looking to employ a bit of a quicker strategy. I was actually looking at doing Ritual. I think it would be faster for me to do Ritual than the expedition I've been doing, but might want to do something even faster and focus on some boss farming for a bit. Also gotten some, interesting unique jewels and such, like the Thread of Hope that I'm potentially saying about slotting into the build at some point. But I still don't have any sanctified relics, at least not any good ones. I've done one complete run. You can get them from bosses that aren't the final boss and from the merchant as well. I just haven't found any that have been both worth buying and that I'm able to afford. I saw a couple. I don't remember if they were good or not because I just was like, yeah, I can't afford these, and there's nothing you can do about it at that point, so I just didn't even register what they were. But the only one I've gotten from my one complete run through to the final boss has been it's 40% attack crit or something like that, so not exactly ideal for my build. So yeah, I'm looking for just a faster strategy to crank out some boss maps, hopefully get some more Conqueror Guardian maps, that sort of thing, and hopefully do some more Sanctums as well. You know, start looking at a volume of maps instead of at a stuff per map level. Anyways, here we are in game now. I can showcase some of the gear and some of the items I've progressed through up to this point. Don't know if I mentioned this in my last video, but this was my first 5-link, got it in Act 5, which is pretty insane, probably my luckiest league start in terms of links so far, and then picked up this pretty early in maps as well, item level 75. It's probably, yeah, I got a bunch of 6 links from a rare and a tier 6, I think it was a Promenade. So I used this for the longest time, and then I had a 6-link Astral Plate drop in a similar manner. Crafted this one to be better than this, you know, just focusing on the armor mainly, but other stats as well. And have been using this for the longest time since, has decent Eldritch implicits. And now I just colored this one. This is a ROG craft. But you can see it has the exact same implicits, just at different values. Yeah, ROG. So, I ended up ROG crafting this, had a bunch of, like, it was looking very mediocre until the last craft or so was like, yeah, just crank everything up to tier 1. And I said, okay, let's do that. And yeah, so I guess while I'm talking about some other things here, I'm going to go buy some fusings and link it. I've grown more and more averse to manually linking things over time because I've been so burned in the past. So yeah, since, you know, I obviously wasn't hurting for 6 links in particular, I was perfectly fine waiting to have enough fusings and, like, yeah, have a ton of jewelers, over 500 extra fusings if I convert those, so more than happy at this point to just pay the 1500, and then I suspect I'll be playing this build long enough, or will have enough of a stand-in piece of equipment on my next build that I'm just completely fine with saving up another 1500, because it honestly wasn't that fast, or slow rather. Didn't take that long is what I meant to say. Speaking of /played, a little less than I thought, but there's the stats. Currently level 96, almost halfway to 97. Kind of accidentally. I got to 96, ran a bunch of boss stuff, died a couple times, and then ran some, like, boosted XP stuff, like enriched breach stones and whatnot. So I don't know if I'll try to push for 97, but that would be my new highest level. Anyways, quite a bit of an upgrade here, going from 31k armor, no flasks, to almost 42k, as well as the extra resists and whatnot. I need to refactor some of my gear to just generally be less resist heavy. So like here, really just don't need any of the Ellie res on this. Do need chaos res, but that leaves room for doing something like, maybe I have this here. Nope. But this is a good example. Stats, need stats. Maybe loosen up the requirement on a Jade Amulet. I could actually, if I throw 10 stat catalysts at this, I no longer need the Jade Amulet at all with my current level of dexterity, so that would be pretty nice. Otherwise, something like this. High elemental damage ring would be nice, or maybe I have another one around here. Yep, a dot multi ring would be also pretty nice. So going for something like that, just more damage where I don't need the other stats. Yeah, for those that, maybe I mentioned this last video, but if not, going with a Devouring Diadem setup. So running Period of Fire, Skitterbots, Determination, and Tempest Shield. Before the Diadem, I did not have Skitterbots, and I did not run any sort of Malevolence. So now I have that on Divine Blessing. Pretty good uptime, can sustain the level 20 Divine Blessing, and the skitter boss as well. Obviously both of those are nice damage increases. It's very similar to the setup I went with last league, except last league I fit in a period of fire, which, yes, I'm aware that does not affect Righteous Fire, but it does affect Fire Trap, which is the bulk of your single target. And to enable that, I went down over here to Champion of the Cause and this Reservation Efficiency. That said, don't think I'm going to do anything of the sort this time around. To get a, I know a lot of people aim for like an Elder Helmet. I don't know what the threshold is for the Elder Helmet being more in terms of damage, like, you know, how many supports plus gem levels from the Veiled Craft plus the Essence mod. I don't know what it takes to outweigh my current setup in terms of damage, but did the math, like quick check in Craft of Exile, and it was like a 1 in 230 chance to get both of the supports that you want in an Elder Helmet, which are burning damage and concentrated effect. So that is pretty steep. I don't know if there's like a better crafting way to do that. I could probably check Pox's site or something, but yeah, I've been pretty satisfied with this setup. Doing roughly like 2 million boss DPS at the moment, which has been good for the Sanctum and good for all the bosses I've done, as you could see from the footage earlier. The shield, again, spell damage effects, Fire Trap, but not Righteous Fire. The 2 all-res is pretty nice, putting me at 87 Fire, 81 Cold, 80 Lightning, 77 Chaos. Have the +1 Cold here, hoping to replace this at some point with the Fire Dot Multi craft, or implicit rather, from Exarch. These boots are kind of nice and kind of make me not want to give them up for Legacy of Fury once I actually get them, because yeah, I found these boots really early with the Fractured Life regenerate, crafted them pretty quickly, and yeah, have used them since. I actually exalted these for the armor and evasion because kind of have an abundance of exalts and nothing really to use them on. So yeah, the 3.2 total regen, 3.2% regen I get from this is pretty nice, and the damage is as well. Stash, other things, like I said, 10 logbooks I've been running. Quite a number of fractured things, a few decent ROG crafts here and there. Some really random stuff like high life and regen shields and whatnot that I might use for something eventually. Resources, Divine Orbs, got most of them from Tujin, I think like 4 or 5, 2 from raw drops and 1 from the Sanctum. Exalts, I think 9 or 10 of these came from a single map with the Eater of Worlds altar. 4 fracturing shards. I have been running Harbinger. Hopefully it'd be nice to have a couple of fracturing orbs to maybe throw at a +1 all spell scepter or something eventually for this build or others. So I might look into that, but like I said, I've been running a lot of like time consuming mechanics. So like Harbinger is one such and Expedition is the other, but now I'm looking at more like bossing strategies, and with the chances to get maps from map bosses, you benefit more greatly from like churning through maps than anything else. So been looking at that, and we'll probably rework the Atlas, or my Atlas passives in favor of that shortly after this video, and maybe go over that in the next video. Other gear stuff, been using these gloves forever. Belt, it's decent. Nothing really to write home about for most of these things. Scepter, this is going to be fairly hard to replace. Once I get my last metacraft that I need, I could get, I can metacraft one that's 10% better from, let's see, I think it was this one? Yeah. I need to scour this strength and then do fire damage, chance to ignite, plus fire dot multi in a multi-craft. But I've kind of I wouldn't say I've gotten unlucky, but still don't have the Coward's Trial, so kind of just waiting on that at this point. So yeah, like I said, boss rush strategy. I know I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between 100 different things here, but there's not really a whole lot of stuff I find online in general for solo self-found strategies, first of all. And second of all, for like boss rush, pure bossing focused strategies. Obviously, like, I wasn't really playing as much at this time, but these nodes used to be chance for a map, a connected map to drop from the boss, and now it's just a random enemy in the map. So you used to be able to like stack these up and be guaranteed a map from the boss, so you could like literally just boss rush, get the map drop, do it again on quick maps, but can't really do that anymore, so I'm kind of looking for viable alternatives to that and might test a few things out. And then I have been doing more syndicate stuff beyond getting my diadem, just because I want the flask craft for 3% life regen to put on this ruby flask. That's something I'm kind of wanting, so I don't know if it's actually 3%, it might be lower than that, but regardless, that would be pretty big. And I guess another quick showcase of unique items here. Sit in here, yep, I have a Paradoxica with IPD and attack speed, so pretty good potential use for that, and I hovered over it briefly here, but this was from my first Elder kill. 8% attack block for determination, and the the 2 extra impales from Pride. So I've been considering building a Ancestral Warchief or other attack totem based chieftain. Not chieftain. Champion. So just going with the Warchief most likely, could also do the Protector if that's like faster but otherwise equal. Yeah, just because of the nature of those two things. I had a quick POB I threw together, and it was like 1 mil single target DPS in like an absolute bare bones scenario, so I think I could, feasibly get it to be pretty decent considering the strength of these two things combined and champion. So I might end up doing that, experimenting with that as my next build. I mean, obviously I have some gear here that could carry over, like, I don't know if this chest in particular would, because I want to keep the colors this way, but if I get some white sockets on it or something, that could be a possibility, or just use this one as I have been on this character. So yeah, anyways, that was another long ramble video, so if you were entertained at all, feel free to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already to catch me in the next one, where I'll probably try out some weird Atlas strategy that has mild success. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you next time.